Hello everybody, Father Mike Pace here at the courtyard in Valdocco. I get a lot of requests from people saying, what do you do all day at Casa Don Bosco? So I thought this little video might help, especially as we're celebrating the bicentenary of the dream of 9 years. What do I do at this place where that dream really came true? So I tell people, we're not so much going to visit buildings from the 1800s. These buildings expose to us the heart and the mind of Don Bosco. As a man, as a priest, as a teacher, as a social reformer. And so let's go inside and I'll show you some of the places that make this dream and this man come to life for those who visit, with the hopes that when they go home, they can take the spirit of Valdocco to their own places of work, their parishes, their oratories, their schools. The courtyard is a central part of the oratory. We know how Don Bosco understood the importance of recreation as a place to build friendships. And so we try to create moments when the guests who come here can play games and interact in ways that they would have done in Don Bosco's time. Behind me is the Pinardi Chapel under the arch. The very first place that Don Bosco established. He comes here, takes a moldy old lean-to shed, makes a chapel within 1 week, and he starts his ministry with Easter Sunday Mass. So after 6 years, the Pinardi shed becomes too small because the boys keep coming. So he builds a second church, the church of our patron, Saint Francis de Sales, a church where Dominic Savio prayed, where Mama Margaret prayed, where Dominic Savio had his 6-hour ecstasy before the Blessed Sacrament in the tabernacle, really the school chapel where the boys deepened their spiritual life. After Don Bosco sets up the churches, he starts to work on the school. And so we're here at the display of the first trade shops that he himself set up and taught to get the boys prepared to work, to earn an honest living, to become honest citizens and good Christians. You know, shoemaking and tailoring and carpentry, bricklaying and printing and bookbinding, all trades that equip the boys to earn an honest living. And so we come here to the basement floor where Salesian Family Spirit was born. These are the places where they ate. This is the first dining room. Up to 300 boys having their meals here, learning how to be a family. This is the first kitchen, the only kitchen for 70 years, where they made meals, lunch and supper for hundreds of boys for 70 years. A very simple place. A lot of sacrifice, a lot of dedication, a lot of smarts to keep the meals coming. Here we're in the second dining room, which he had to add because the boys grew up and more boys came. The family is growing. He makes a bigger dining room, which is also practical as the first Salesian theater. We see here all kinds of pieces linked to the history and the life of the oratory. When you come in person, I'll tell you all about it. So we end up here in the Cantina, where Don Bosco made wine for the use of the oratory, which wine he gave to his benefactors. We have no more wine here, so it made us think of Our Lady at the wedding feast of Cana. And we've put together this collection of international images of our Blessed Mother from various countries where the Salesians work and make the dream come alive today. On the first floor, which used to be all classrooms and different spaces for the daily life, we have this area dedicated to the architectural development of Valdocco. So we have this first model of the Pinardi house as Don Bosco found it, the chapel he built behind it, Mama Margaret's garden. And from this, you see in the photos the 4 stages of development from when he arrives, 1846, to how Valdocco is today. So this is the Salesian Youth Ministry room, and so we've tried to capture the essence of Don Bosco's mission through 3 dreams, 3 charismatic dreams. The dream of 9 years, a little boy who has a dream when he's at home. The dream of 1844, Don Bosco, a young priest, just before he comes to Valdocco, and Mary reveals to him what Valdocco would be. And then finally, the missionary dream, his last great missionary dream, 2 years before he dies. That reveals to him that what was revealed at 9 years, what he developed here at Valdocco, is meant for the whole world, all the way from Valparaiso to Beijing, China. And all of that because it's the dream of the Good Shepherd for young people. So we climb up to the second floor, the heart of which are Don Bosco's bedrooms, the famous camerette. I'm looking at what was his first bedroom, and behind me is the room he moved into in 1861, where he lived for 26 years. Everything we see is his. The room was set up as you see it, and we know that because we have photographs. And so the desk where he wrote hundreds of books for the ministry, the bed of his many dreams, also the bed that he died in, although not in this room. And so we move from Don Bosco the man, who upon his death becomes Don Bosco the saint, and therefore the father of a spiritual family that is displayed on the rest of the floor. Let's go and see the room where Don Bosco passed away. This is really the heart of the museum, the room in which Don Bosco died. And we see his human belongings, gloves, clothing, walking sticks, etc. The humility of the man who did great things in the name of God, guided by Mary for the young to appreciate his humanity, the limitations of his old age, and how until the very end he was focused on young people, speaking his very last words to them. We see them on the wall. I'll be waiting for you all in paradise. So Don Bosco the man, who we honor as Don Bosco the saint, becomes the patriarch of an entire spiritual family of saints and blesseds and even martyrs. 14 saints come out of Valdocco. They lived here, and 12 of them are honored in this part of the museum, starting from Dominic Savio. We see the canvas area, which was Mama Margaret's bedroom, and at the very end we have our two proto-martyrs, Saint Luigi Versilia and Callisto Caravaggio, among them the other who became saints living at Valdocco. And so the holiness that Don Bosco promoted extends beyond Valdocco to the entire world. And so here we consider so many of the saints from around the world of our Salesian family. We have the 5 young martyrs, the young men of Poznan, slain by the Nazis. We have Saint Artemide Zatti, newly proclaimed. We have Blessed Alexandrina da Costa, cooperator, and so on. And of course, Mary Domenica Mazzarello, the holiness of the Salesian family, embracing so many walks of life. And in this room, we pay tribute to the large Salesian family, 32 branches that have developed around the spirituality of Don Bosco, the charismatic heart of which is in the Salesians of Don Bosco. Groups of lay people, of consecrated people, of clerics, of men and women, young and old, able-bodied and even handicapped, all of whom convey in their own way the spirit that was born here in Valdocco, all over the world in different languages. And so the tour of Casa Don Bosco brings us here to the Basilica of Mary, Help of Christians, this jewel in the crown of Don Bosco's Marian devotion, where 3 Salesian saints are buried. Here we're at the tomb of St. John Bosco himself, buried here at the altar where he celebrated Mass for so many years. And in the Basilica are also 2 other great Salesian saints. Saint Dominic Savio, patron saint of young people, and Saint Maria Domenica Mazzarello, with whom Don Bosco co-founded the Salesian Sisters, the living monument to Mary, Help of Christians. So that's a little bit of what I do here at Museo Casa Don Bosco. There's a lot more to see. There's a lot more to discover. There's over 4,000 square meters of museum here. But the rest of it you can listen to, you can explore when you come and visit. Don Bosco is waiting for you. Mary Help of Christians is expecting you. I'm Father Mike, and it'll be my pleasure to offer you a tour, first chance you get, to come to Casa Don Bosco in Valdocco.